Matthews, North Carolina, outside Charlotte. Welcome to the Sportsplex. We're running out of games out here in Matthews, but today, for sure, we've got a good one. Sunday night action in the USL Championship is presented by Novant Health, the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independents. It's the Independents playing host to the unbeaten Hartford Athletic. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts on hand, a peek at the Atlantic Division. Tampa Bay leads the way. Hartford, only 4 games played on level terms with the Miami FC.
I've said for the entire weekend, though, Mike, this game right here between the Charlotte Independents and Hartford Athletic is the standard setter within the Atlantic Division. People are going to look and say, why? The Tampa Bay Rowdies are the best team in the East. Yes, they are. But who is going to step up and give them a run for their money? The opportunity for Charlotte Independents to follow it up with a quality win after taking down last year's Eastern Conference champions, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, is right in front of them. Hartford Athletic haven't exactly had the hardest schedule so far, but the Charlotte Independents were magnificent from start to finish against the best team in the Eastern Conference. If they want to be a contender, these are the games they want to win.
They were battle-tested, and a look at tonight's player to watch brought to you by Great Clips. It's the standard setter in goal, Brandon Miller.
Has to all go back to his former manager, Bob Lilly, and the ability to continue to push this young man to new heights. Now he's at 31 years of age. In his mid-20s, dating back to 2015, won the title with Rochester Rhinos, was also the USL Goalkeeper of the Year. We saw glimpses of that form last year. He's now carried it into 2021, but it's going to take something even further and more special, Mike, to take down the attack of Hartford Athletic. 7. That is not an error. You are looking at the correct score. Hartford Athletic scored 7 goals against New York Red Bull 2. Recognize this, though. This team struggled in the opening 35 minutes. It was 1-0 getting ready to head into halftime. The onslaught that was the finish of the first half, pushing into the second, due to the backing of the goal by Connor McGlynn, is going to be followed up by a quality performance by Dana Barrera in the midfield. 3 goals and 5 assists. He had a fantastic season in 2020. He's doing the same in 2021, but he needs the supporting cast around him to step up here on the road to get a result.
It is his 10th professional season, and Danny Barrera playing perhaps as well as he ever has. The Giant Slayer, Charlotte Independents, back at their home away from home, taking on Hartford. Lineups kick off when we return.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Douglas. If you have an active lifestyle like me, hydration is key. That's why I love the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. With more electrolytes than some of the leading sports drinks, it's a cleaner way to hydrate and recover, with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So try the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. Order online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Fun fact, you know Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo?
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive,
Babe,
heartwarming
it's
story
8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back to Matthews. Novant Health proudly presents tonight's match between the Charlotte Independents and Hartford Athletic. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr, let's take a look at the starting lineups. They're brought to you by Adidas. We begin with Hartford. This is a side that made some pretty significant changes. You would think 7-0, keep it the same. Not quite.
No, Harry Watling still searching for that perfect match, and that is going to be a lifelong search within this league. It's very difficult to get it right each and every week. All he's looking for right now is the 90 minutes. Niarma Ashiti comes into that right back spot. Richie Schlentz goes to left back. Bradford Jamieson back in up top. Of note, the fact that Sebastian Elney, who was starting last time out, not available in the 18. Watch this team as it can shift with some of the best. They are looking for a philosophy moving forward. What is it going to look like? That can change, and we'll get into it as the match progresses. For the Charlotte Independents and Mike Jeffries coming off the win against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, you're going to see two changes. Jordan Bender, of note, moving to that outside midfielder spot just in front of Armin. Armin will come in inside alongside Brant Bronico, the loanee. And how about Blake Pope coming on? The UNC Charlotte commit at just 18 years of age. You lose Kevin Riascos. First start of the season for that young man. This team has been very impressive so far, but a tall ask for that back line with the absence of Riascos.
So Obregon is standing over the ball for Hartford alongside Danny Barrera. Great matchup here in the Atlantic Division on a Sunday in the USL Championship. We are underway. The Hartford Athletic and Charlotte Independence match that we have waited all weekend for. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. Devin, you've called this a standard setting match in the Atlantic Division now for about a week. Why is this matchup so intriguing to you?
A couple of reasons. You start with Hartford Athletic and the fact that, number one, they're coming off a 7-0 drubbing to Red Bull 2. That's great. But in terms of who they've played so far, their resume doesn't exactly speak for itself. Now, they've gotten results to the tune of 3 victories and a draw. But 2 of those victories over against Red Bull 2, which don't look like good wins considering the standings right now. Another one on the road against Miami FC, who haven't exactly found their form either. And your draws against Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who are struggling. So the only team within this equation right now that has quality results or result is the Charlotte Independents. Charlotte Independents coming off the 1-0 victory, defensive masterclass against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The Independents, though they've played more games, have played similar opponents as well, but they've beaten teams, although struggling in the Charleston Battery, only team to ever make the postseason every single year since 2011. But the result against the Rowdies is what gets me. It's important that they got that victory. It's important that for Charlotte Independents, they followed up with a quality result. And for Hartford Athletic to be taken seriously, regardless of the new coach and the glitz and glamour, they need to beat a good team that's gotten some good results of their own. Tactically is where it takes some really interesting changes.
You saw 31-year-old head coach Harry Watling. By comparison, Brandon Miller is also 31 years old. Mike Jeffries helms the Charlotte Independents, talking this week, and it's a bit wild. You don't really realize that Mike Jeffries has been in the coaching game as long as he has. Finished his playing career in 1988, started coaching around the USL in 1993. Picked up by Armin, a little more central this week. Roberts. Dimmick. Bronico, this run through. Pope. Charlotte, as we mentioned pregame, coming off that 1-0 win against Tampa Bay that certainly gave fans a lot to hope for in this independent side this year. Heavy challenge draws a grimace even from the referee.
A little high there on Irvin Parra. I mentioned the onset of this match, Mike, that the addition of Blake Pope to the back line is going to be the biggest question mark for the Charlotte Independents. Well, Mike Jeffries just solves that. He just moves Clay Dimmick to the back line. Pumps Blake Pope up into that wing-back position.
Armin. That's caught by Jeff Caldwell. 25-year-old former first-round pick of NYCFC. John Freeman today is the referee. Caleb Fearing and Jordan Davis work the touchlines. Roberts spears that down. How big a loss is Riascos in the back for Charlotte here today? Because when we spoke to Mike Jeffries a few days ago, we just beginning to explore how this three-back has come together with Dean and Roberts, and now he's not available to play today.
It's more of a loss in terms of the coverage as opposed to the player, and that's not a knock on Kevin Riascos. He's fantastic for the system. He does his job, and he's ever steady, but they don't have depth in that position. You bring an 18-year-old in Blake Pope. They obviously aren't going to allow that to progress, so then you drop Clay Dimmick onto the back line. They've already changed it again here, where you flip-flop sides. So they're searching to try and find out exactly what they want this to look like. That gives you an idea of how important he is in terms of the system, because you basically only have one guy that can play that spot right now. Now you're just 5 minutes into a match, but Blake Pope expected to start there. Bump him into wingback. You bring Dimmick. Now they've rotated Dean over, push Dimmick to the other side.
Folks, make sure you get the best wings in town.
I will say that it is the smart move to push Pope into that wingback spot, because you sandwich him around talent as opposed to leaving him in a one-on-one on the back line.
Schlentz. Barrera winds the service. Roberts heads it away, and this struck on the first time, lashed well wide. Let's take a look at our Gatorade keys to the match. For Charlotte, what do you mean by a changeup? No curveball slider?
No, they're doing it already in the sense that they're moving pieces around. Harry Watling, very well versed in the trade that is the Charlotte Independence. He's prepared, he knows how they line up, he knows the formations, how they move things around. Time to change things up a little bit. The way that they stack, 3-5-2, 3-6-1. I joked with Mike Jeffries, I said you even play a 1-10 the way that they attack at times, and they've gotten so good at that. They've got to show a different look now in order to be successful. And the vision quest that is Hartford Athletic, not only do they need a win against a quality team, Charlotte Independence can be for real if they follow it up, but it's still a good result regardless. He's searching for good performance. I actually think their performance is more important than the points, Mike. Their ability to go on the road against a quality team in Charlotte Independence and prove that they belong. Because so far, as I referenced the resume, though they've gotten the results, we haven't exactly seen fantastic performances. This is a good team. Go break them down and show us that within the talking points of the Eastern Conference, we should be talking about Hartford Athletic.
Steve Velarde went down under a Hartford challenge at the end line. And Boudadi didn't seem all that content that it was him.
Another thing you have to look at for Hartford Athletic in terms of that quest, Mike, is what is this going to look like going forward? And I mean that in terms of the philosophies that Harry Watling puts in place. You know, this team starts 4-3-3 3 games in a row and then switches to a 3-5-2 with a dropping holding midfielder. You would almost expect that, okay, we're going to step right back into that. Watling says to us, I want my team to be able to change formation, change the ideology from game to game, and not miss a beat. This is one of those moments. Whether you stay in the same formation from last match or you change again, can you do it while going on the road and still get a result? These are important questions that are going to be asked of a young manager early on in his career and early on in the season. That's why I say the performance is more important than the result.
Bounces over to Bender, recovered by Rogers. Eight minutes in, scoreless, only game in the championship on this Sunday. Tested down to Danny Barrera. Connor McGlynn. I don't know that he'll ever top the goal he scored last week against New York Red Bulls 2. Picked it up around midfield and lobbing perfectly under the crossbar. Good first touch inside by Schlentz, who teased this up, and this is hammered up and over by Bradford Jamieson.
That's beautifully done by Richie Schlentz, though, at the outside back position. Beautiful ball by Connor McGlynn. Well taken off the chest, and there's that mismatch, Mike. There's Blake Pope. That's going to be a long night. You have to be very careful in terms of coverage at this outside back spot, even with Christian Dean behind you sliding over. The flip-flop once again. Now Dimmick back to the right side. Independence trying to figure out exactly who they want at this right back position just 10 minutes in. Even with Blake Pope being shielded by veterans, you have to have someone behind him to provide proper communication, or Richie Schlentz in situations like that is going to continue to provide opportunities for the rest of the squad.
Pope's first start for a professional team. All floated ahead. Well, Peel there for a handball, might not be misguided. Bender headed that toward goal. Jamison got his heels clipped. Well, Devin, to you, is this enough to be considered a penalty with the current handball rules?
Yes, I can tell you already. The ball's extended away from the body. The question that you have there isn't if it actually hit the hand, it's where it hit the arm. Because it doesn't hit the hand, it hits the extended arm. And the rule states right now that it's basically the bottom of your underarm, almost just above where your shirt ends. That's the line of demarcation, if you will, of where it goes from playable to an offense. And that looked really close to me, right around the elbow area. If it's below that, it's a handball because the arm's away from the body. If it comes off the upper portion of the arm, then it's in play.
John Freeman allows play to continue here. Turned over high up the field. Splitting ball forward. Charlotte may look to get a shot off here with a deflection. Palomino watches this skip into the hands of Caldwell. Palomino's had a very impressive, tricky, clever start to his Charlotte career.
He's really difficult to mark as well, the loanee from the Houston Dynamo, homegrown back in 2018, who's just looking for some repetitions, to be honest. And Mike Jeffries recognizes the skill first and foremost, but his understanding of what they're trying to do here in terms of their shape, he's fit right in, to be honest. You know, the change that occurred last year, latter portion of the season, due to one of his former disciples, Troy Lesane, moving into his three-back style system, has really allowed them to not only lock things down defensively, but push forward in the final third. Palomino, a big reason here in 2021 why they have had success.
Dean. Unprovoked, so he dribbled forward. Let's take a look at the injury report and get you caught up. It's presented by Novant Health. Enzo Martinez remains out for Charlotte, but also late additions to that report, Junior Etu and Kevin Riascos. Perpa and Torres not with Hartford today. And then they're dealing with the suspension announced by the league to Tulu. A supplemental discipline report provided in the midst of the games yesterday, which was after we spoke with Hartford's Harry Watling. Perhaps it's notable that Hartford only has 6 available on their bench tonight. Calls into question just how much they knew about that fact in advance.
Well, the good news is for Harry Watling the fact that in his recruitment process, whether it was deciding to keep players that already had to stay here in Hartford Athletic or the opportunity to bring new ones in, good ball. He wanted versatility, and that's a word that can often be overused, but he's really done a fantastic job, Mike, in that sense where whether they're switching formations or not, he can move Arthur Rogers from a holding midfielder spot to an attacking midfielder within a 3, or he can drop him onto the back line and play him an outside back. Connor McGlynn, a fantastic example, scores a worldly goal against Red Bull 2, playing in an attacking midfielder role, lined up at right center back tonight. So his ability to change these players based upon the opposition, and more importantly, player availability. He really wanted that to be a staple for this squad, and he's gotten that 4 games into the season.
He said there's no one on this roster that could not play another position.
sometimes 3 or 4 deep in certain areas.
Somewhere Jeff Caldwell's going, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Para went threw his boot around a bit awkwardly. 14 minutes or so in, Charlotte and Hartford level at the moment. Folks, you can join us July the 7th for our Chick-fil-A grand opening night at American Legion Memorial Stadium. The Jacks play New York Red Bulls too, plus there'll be a huge fireworks show after the game. Tickets on sale now, charlotteindependence.com. You and I have gotten a chance to see some of the initial renderings and then the work that's been put in over there. Looks like it's coming along nicely. Foul here with Obregon going down. You and I had a chance to call some of the Olympic qualifying, and
he was great.
Carlos Obregon was great, but to the United States' detriment.
No, scored the opening goal against the United States men's national team in that fateful semifinal match for Honduras. Had such a quality presence for the U23s in that tournament. Only 1 goal to his name over 5 appearances, but his ability to allow the likes of, Kervin Arriaga to get the attack going forward in a very traditional style formation and format. Quite threatening in the final third.
Armin, brilliant. For what it's worth, Obregon hoping to be part of that men's national team picture for that outstanding Honduran side. It came through Christ the King High School and into Siena collegiately up in the Northeast. Certainly took the road less traveled, theoretically, going through Necaxa briefly as well.
Check the way they spread this now, tactically. Ninjagian just moving to this near touchline. Allows you with Connor McGlynn, who's so calm on the ball. Just talked about him a second ago. Drops into the middle. Lara spreads it to the right, and you can push Richie Slench up into the midfield now. That's what you get as a luxury with these players. Tweak themselves. You force the opposition to chase a little bit here. Charlotte has not been used to that so far in this season. Outside of their opening game where they lost 3-0, and even then, there were moments, quite a few to be fair, against the Tampa Bay Rowdies where they did control.
Ni Arma Shiti took that down and wheeled around and tried to Connor McGlynn it. Devin, is that feeling a bit contagious? The idea that, well, last week McGlynn hit one from beyond midfield and scored. Why not?
Well, the best part is the way that this played out is you go into training first and you start to have a little fun. Like, anyone, I could score that goal. Come on. So at the end of training sessions, or even at the beginning before the rondo gets going and you warm up, you start to pick ones out from distance. And you go into the game, maybe you were able to hit a couple, feeling good about yourself. That usually goes horribly wrong, and you end up buying everybody dinner.
For what it's worth, Sky Sport put the McGlynn goal up on Twitter. Will this continue for Dimmick? It did. Dimmick goes down, penalty! Hartford's probably going to feel really hard done by this. But Charlotte, chance to grab another goal by way of penalty back-to-back weeks.
Some of that rotation that I just talked about does come back to bite them. Fantastic ball, split right down into the corner, and it's the secondary effort put forth by Clay Dimmick. Gotta be honest, I'm having a little bit of a rough time agreeing with this as well. Watch the ball cut back across. That's a better look. Watch the ball itself. The ball itself does not move. That's the key factor here. Is there enough contact to point to the penalty mark? That was the question. When he cuts back inside, he does catch him. Doesn't touch the ball, catches the foot, penalty 100%.
Etu scored a penalty last week. Para had his saved. Para now saved again! And Caldwell's got it. Went low into the left. It wasn't the best hit penalty, but Caldwell smothered it. And that's 2 consecutive weeks where Irvin Para Charlotte's talisman up front comes away with no fruit for his labor.
There's still a bunch to be done here, though, Mike, because not a tremendous amount of pace, but very well placed by Irvin Parra. This is just a great save by Jeff Caldwell, getting off his line down to the bottom corner and giving his team the confidence to go after this thing.
And how will that change the narrative here? This unbeaten Hartford side, 3 wins and a draw. Away to Charlotte, who just a week ago knocked off an unbeaten and undrawn Tampa Bay Rowdies. Fans will have to wait
for
that opening goal.
Wellness and all natural recovery therapies, visit the Invigory. The Invigory is the official
Folks, the
wellness
Independence has
recovery
partnered
studio
with Folds of Honor to
Charlotte
raise
Independence.
funds for kids of fallen soldiers in the Charlotte region. We'd also like to honor your favorite veteran of the armed forces at a game. CharlotteIndependence.com/veterans and nominate your vet today. Swung through here for Charlotte. Careens out of the penalty area. Pope kept it. Roll back over to Bronico. Charlotte FC acquired him in December. He's on loan to the Independence. Roberts. Bean. Diagonal finds Pope. Armin. First touch is a good one from Barrera. Now he's played it ahead. The offside flag is up.
Da Vinci Jets is proud to call North Carolina home. For your private aviation needs, call on Da Vinci Jets to get you to your next meeting, vacation spot, or family visit. Visit us at davincijets.com.
Stoppage here from John Freeman.
This ball's in a pretty advanced position. He's got it at the halfway mark. It
is literally on.
It's impossible. The referee was actually pointing the other way, about 10 yards behind. Still. Good luck.
The AR is legitimately 15 yards behind the halfway line, and a player goes down here for Hartford right on the restart. Jamison pulling his jersey up to his mouth here as he lays on his back. Gosh, you want to talk about a guy where it feels like he's been around forever.
I feel for him on this one because this is behind the scenes, just going down on his own. Christian Dean coming over a second ago, paying his respects, and watch him right in the middle of the field as he's backing up. Just sort of turns and nope, not having it. Heavy cause for concern for Harry Watling and his staff.
He's having his left leg examined by the athletic trainer. The athletic trainer for the Athletic, of course.
Attaboy. Kevin Hoffman checking on their striker, making sure that what he did feel wasn't something that was overarching, but the fact that you've got a substitute already up moving gives you an idea of how Bradford Jamison is feeling is in this situation.
Just the 23rd minute. Jamison is up, and he's up and steady at that. Preston Tabor Itaka waits to come on. Be the first sub, the first of 3 windows for Hartford. One would imagine that's going to make any consideration of a halftime substitute a little more real when you've used 1 window already.
The other argument to that would be that what does the presence look like for them on the offensive side of the ball, because of the fact that both Bradford Jamison and Obregon have struggled.
Entering the match.
Obregon, excuse me, have struggled in the opening 24 minutes to make themselves available. due to the rotation on the back line.
Complete Construction Services presents the substitution. Tabor Itaka comes on for his 4th appearance, 3rd off the bench, but he's managed 3 goals. To be fair, 2 of them were last week against New York Red Bulls too. That 7-0 drubbing.
Everybody scored.
You and I both scored in that game.
Yeah. What a good seat to an onslaught of goals.
Obregon had a pair. Sebastian Elney, not with the team tonight, scored. McGlynn scored the worldie from half field. Barrera bagged 1. And Tabor Itaka, 2 goals in that game.
You and I were getting ready to call the Charleston Battery Los Angeles Galaxy 2 game.
Oh, we were waiting and waiting and waiting.
And I saw the score kept going up and up, and you know, social media being is what it is. I saw that going wild. I tweeted, I said, what is going on in Hartford?
High arcing ball for Bender. To be fair, you think about the poor social media manager who's running out of gifts. You plan to maybe drop 4 in a game. You don't plan 7. Obregon finds his way into play here, and the whistle concedes possession.
Luxury apartment home living
Hartford.
is right around
It's
the
a
corner
foul.
here
Home
in
fan's not
Matthews.
happy, but it's a
At
follow
Riley
through by
Apartment
Jake
Homes.
Armin that gets himself in
Riley's
trouble.
upscale apartment homes come with all the amenities. It's why many Independence players call Riley home.
Nothing there for Palomino. Continues to press at the back of Alex Lara. One of the few returning players for Hartford year over year. This was a Hartford team that basically said we took it down to the studs over the offseason. Hadi Jaidi leaves to go back overseas after Jimmy Nielsen was the head coach in year 1. So Paul Buckle looks overseas to find his new manager, and Harry Watling came to the fore, the 31-year-old who's been coaching academy ball in England for over a decade. Yellow card comes out from John Freeman. Clay Dimmick receives a Devil's Logic Brewing yellow.
Devil's Logic Brewing yellow card issued to number 17 for the Independence, Clay Dimmick.
I don't know that Devil's Logic and giving out cards are a good mixture.
Makes perfect sense to me.
It sure does.
It's right in my wheelhouse.
Well, Devin, that's Devil's Advocate.
I'm learning. This whole thesaurus thing has me all turned around.
Devin's over here going, give him a warning. It's a free kick for Hartford. Skies into the penalty area, and Miller claims that with ease, and he'll roll out the distribution. Palomino pushed out by Yunus Boudadi, the 25-year-old Belgian. Bounces up, and that's a good recovery. Got awkward there for Janjigian. Hartford's won the ball at the edge of their defensive third and quickly send long for Obregon.
Oh, well done. It's sort of been the way that this first half has gone so far for both of these teams, though. Some quality touches, not necessarily a full buildup, though, and then an immediate, extremely unnecessary turnover. Unforced is probably the better word, Mike, where a little pressure, not enough to really have a cause for concern. You just gift it right back to your opposition.
Janjigian, who's got a great Twitter handle. It's just Jan Jiggles. He's on it again. And drives this through. Obregon muscled off by Hugh Roberts. If you're traveling to Charlotte to see an Independence game, make sure you stay at the Hyatt Place downtown. The Hyatt Place just blocks from the games and surrounded by endless dining options. Hyatt Place downtown, the official hotel of the Charlotte Independence. American Legion Memorial Stadium set to open in just a few weeks after a significant renovation, a 10-year lease, $32 million plus in renovations made since September of 2019 in the Elizabeth neighborhood of Charlotte. Devin, were you ever one growing up that wanted to go to all the stadiums in a certain league? Did that ever do anything for you?
It wasn't all the stadiums. It was more iconic stadiums that I would like to visit. You know, one of the biggest regrets in my life, and this will hit home for you because of where you're from, is I always wanted to go to the original Yankee Stadium. Never got the opportunity to do that. But I've gotten the chance to visit places like Wrigley and Fenway. So I don't need to necessarily visit every ground within a specific league or sport, just the ones that tickle my fancy.
I missed OG Yankee Stadium by, I don't know, 6 months.
Not a boy.
The new one's fine. A lot of blue shirts swarming for Charlotte, and Hartford's giving it back. We're half an hour into this game, Devin, and perhaps it ends 7-0 again, although I doubt it. But it does feel like a lot of the similar feelings, I suppose, from the Red Bulls 2 game are showing.
For Hartford, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, they're not comfortable. They're chasing a lot. Their build is slow going forward and indecisive as well. I would like to give a little bit of credit, to be fair, but most of the credit to the Independence midfield, especially with Brant Bronico and Jake Arman and what they're doing. They're basically overloading to one side. And that may not seem crazy, but with the two of them sitting underneath Bender and Palomino, they occupy a lot of space. But they're doing a really good job of shifting one way, and then one of them holding as the main six. That's a foul. And then one of them holding as the main six, allowing the step going further. So Jake Arman will sit centrally, and Brant Bronico is stepping up almost to an attacking midfielder role underneath Irvin Parra. But the two of them also go in tandem, side by side. There's a good look at it right there, even with the beat on the outside against DiViardi. Great explosion of speed here, by the way, by Budati. Just having trouble finding that space. Hartford Athletic 32 minutes in.
And they make something off a set piece. Rogers steps over. It'll be Barrera winding this into the box. And watch out, Miller goes airborne over Roberts. Two players who have been leading off the field through the Black Players Alliance. Both back to their feet, thankfully, after that collision. But looking to make a significant impact around the USL and the American soccer landscape. You'll find more online about that, and I suggest that you do. This will roll just on the wrong side of the line. Throw here for Charlotte. Ball across. Parra didn't move an inch. Pope. Parra.
Good step.
Leads out to midfield. Teibordi Taka got this outside. On for the injured Bradford Jamison about 10 minutes ago. Closing in on the 33-minute mark and scoreless in Matthews. Aquafina is the official water of the Charlotte Independence. When the game heats up, cool down with Aquafina. Good initial step, and what a recovery by Pope. Crowd appreciates that. Arman swings this out. Palomino. Room to attack, although Hartford has dropped back in nicely. Dummied through, Para caught between his feet and cleared. We've seen those kinds of attacking movements be really fruitful for Charlotte to start the season. Look at this. Tebori Taka has broken through, and his heavy touch lets him down. Scooped up by DiValardi.
Well, this is the glimpse that we started hearing about from Eric Ronaldo back in 2019 with the Las Vegas Lights when he was on loan, how much of an impact he could make. Confidence never lacking, explosion of speed, always willing to take on a challenge, whether it's one player or two, and splitting the back line. Tebori Taka, very impressive.
8 goals, 3 assists for Eric Ronaldo in 2019.
The way this game is going, they're going to need that as well, because Obregon and Tebori Taka very isolated right now. So much defensive work being done down in the engine room that when they do transition, Mike, it's a 2-man gain up top.
Niarma Ashiti won the ball for Athletic. Obregon, adios. And off of Dimmick.
And the fact that they're dropping.
Good first touch, Obregon.
Barrera so deep to help facilitate this attack is where they're getting themselves into trouble. Ashiti has been great in the midfield defensively. He was the one who stepped just a second ago to thwart off the attack.
Obregon on the back pass. He's created a bit of space, trying to weave around, and it's at the fingertips of a leaning Brandon Miller. He was trying to put Hugh Roberts in the blender.
Hands on the knees for both Hugh Roberts and Obregon at the tail end of this, and offside position is what it looked like it was. Not called by the AR on the far side. Obregon goes to work. There is the one-off again though, Mike. Notice, always isolated situations here in the first half for the strikers. Mentally, that's a very difficult thing when you know that every time you turn your shoulder, you're going to be running at least one guy, if not 2 or 3. Very difficult to handle if you're Obregon or Tebori Taka. And to the point just prior, as good as Ashiti's been defensively, he hasn't been able to help distribution-wise in the midfield because of the relationship that's happened between Bronico and Armin. They're shutting down that pass and not allowing the back line to facilitate that direct route through the middle. So Danny Barrera dropping down in deep, which removes one of those attacking options, hence why the 2 strikers are cut off from the rest of the team.
Rogers navigated around, comes to the feet of Danny Barrera. Already 5 assists on 12 Hartford goals this year.
Rude.
Barrera. That won't be the 6th.
He's closing in on the all-time record in the USL Championship.
Isn't that a constantly moving goalpost?
When you're chasing Canardo Forbes, it's like chasing a ghost.
Dimmick heads this away.
Sitting just 2 behind. He's got 37, Canardo Forbes 39. And of course, in the Western Conference, Phoenix Rising Solomon Asante lurking.
All due respect, Canardo Forbes and Danny Barrera have been in the league a lot longer than Solomon Asante, which is part of what makes that so
scary.
Yeah. Solomon Asante played a career here. He'd be triple-digit goal and assist. It's possible you give him another 3-4 years, he could do it anyways. Fans, your Jacks will wear special jerseys on July 17th. When Charlotte takes on New York Red Bulls 2, famous Toastery presents Military Appreciation Night. And those game-authentic jerseys will be autographed and auctioned, all proceeds going to Folds of Honor and scholarships for local kids of fallen veterans. Get your tickets at charlotteindependence.com. 39th minute, Charlotte and Hartford both above the playoff line. 8-team Atlantic Division, top 4 will go to the postseason, both with games in hand. Hartford 3 wins and a draw through 4. Charlotte, a more intriguing start. A couple of losses along the way, but squarely in the thick of things after their win against Tampa Bay a week ago, the league leaders. As this USL Championship weekend comes to a close on a sunny night in North Carolina. Armin did well to find the space wide, but Armin will take again. Pope wants this down the line. He played just 14 minutes in the opening 5 games of the season. All this space with which to shoot right at Caldwell. Palomino certainly never afraid to give it a whack.
If they're going to give you the space, go ahead and take it. And one of the issues you run into if you're Hartford Athletic is trying to find out which player you're going to mark, because as the shape for this team plays out, they line up in a 4-5-1, but easily, excuse me, 5-4-1, easily it turns into 6 or 7 in the midfield. It turns into 3 or 4 up top. And with that constant rotation comes a lot more responsibility. So defensively, always head on a swivel. Centrally, it hasn't been a problem. The issue they've run into is where those second and third runs come from. Just on that one, Palomino, who tucks himself inside. You still have to be cognizant of the fact, if you're Alex Lara, that you've got DiViardi on the far side. So you're marking 2 separate areas, but one of the same, because the attack can come from either angle. And so it's very difficult in terms of the way that they're lined up to pull alongside and get on one-on-one and marking options.
Sprung across here by Bender. Eyes up from Dean. Palomino. Bronico. Pope making the run around. Not a bad idea from the 18-year-old. And that's what's going to be interesting moving forward for Blake Pope. As you mentioned, had committed to UNC Charlotte. He's on an academy deal right now, so all options are on the table. But whether it's Hartford's academy that they're just starting to get off the ground, the way the independents have started to build out in the Charlotte area, getting more academy guys into the first team as time's gone on. We've spoken to some academy directors. Ryan Martin comes to mind. Some players best to go to college, some best to sign pro right off the bat, or maybe go somewhere else and sign pro. Pretty intriguing time for the young player.
Sometimes just going to college for a year. You know, every player is extremely specific, and where you have to find a way to get this right is recognizing what's best for the player, which can be best for the organization long term. And go back to your point on Ryan Martin, he was fantastic on breaking that down, where sometimes you're going to have a talent in front of you that you know if you keep him, you may not be able to continue that progression because he's going to sit a little bit more. You know, as a youngster, you're going to give him glimpses here and there, and you say, okay, he can really make an impact for us. But if he doesn't continue to get repetitions or to grow up, to be honest, which you need to do, it's mental, it's physical, he's not going to continue to make the progression at the professional level. So you pump him into college, bring him back. Other ones, like one of my personal favorites, Moses Nyman, using that organization as an example, just send the kid, forget it. Pack my things. Leaving on a jet plane.
Mom, I'm moving out.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot to walk the cat.
That's a recurring theme. That cat never gets walked. Anywho. Rogers. Positive step, but bangs back to Janjigian. Schlentz. Not it by Pope, but Dimmick is in position. Caldwell. He was the third goalkeeper in New England a year ago. Started 28 games for Memphis in 2019. I suppose a different way you could say that is he split time with Tim Howard.
Of sorts. Obviously getting the brunt of the workload, Jeff Caldwell. This is much better from Hartford Athletic. What you need is to not outrun your support. As much as I can talk about the lack of a presence within the midfield, anytime the ball was moving up top, they weren't slowing down, waiting for support to come and help them out.
Rogers bangs off of Armin.
You get the hold-up play out of your nines, and then you can start to really try and figure out how to break it down. If everybody doesn't follow suit when you go in transition, Mike, you've got to find another way to evolve on the offensive side, and that's what Hartford Athletic is playing out right in front of your eyes. Very comfortable. They like to knock it around. They just lack that ability in the first half. As these long balls are coming up over the top, you've basically had Obregon, of course, Tabor Itaka coming on for Bradford Jamison, almost outrunning their coverage, so to say, where you don't have those supplemental runs coming in through the midfield or from the outside wingbacks.
And there is an element of, even for a guy who's coaching his 5th professional game, you get the sense that they know they're going to have to win in different ways on different days. That was a big part of our conversation with him. Sometimes that direct ball is the answer.
Absolutely, and you've seen it so far that you can go direct just like this, but the problem you run into is if you go direct, you need to put him in the best position to succeed, not 1v3 or 1v2s. Get him in one-on-ones.
Schlentz curls this off the back of Dimmick. 2 additional minutes. First half stoppage time.
Fans, a minimum of 2 minutes.
Brought to you by Novant Health. Love a stickler for the rules. Schlentz has a cannon. For what it's worth, Devin, El Paso did draw last night, correct? Colorado Springs.
1 goal for one team, 1 goal for the other.
Yeah,
that's a draw. That's a point.
So that leaves Hartford and El Paso as the only unbeaten teams left in the league. Final seconds of this first half. Armin dances. He's got space. Armin with a deflection will ricochet out. Corner with about 20 seconds and perhaps a little more at the end of the first half.
It's not bad company to keep for Hartford Athletic. Back-to-back Western Conference finalists in El Paso Locomotive. But in order to continue that run, you have to be better defensively. This is lazy by Danny Barrera. Just needs an opportunity to get stuck in. He has one, and he doesn't. Has to find a way to win the individual battles if you want to win on the road.
Chick-fil-A corner kick. Too high for D. Velarde, and that'll take us to halftime. Devin scoreless at the break. In your mind, who has the edge?
Still Charlotte Independence. The difference is that Hartford Athletic are starting to work their way into the match, whereas Charlotte Independence on the better run haven't exactly produced enough opportunities when they have progressed into the final third. Harry Watling sees a little bit of blood in the water. He knows he needs to get his boys on the ball a bit more, start to dance around, and make Mike Jeffries and co chase this game instead of trying to follow suit.
So we're headed into halftime. We'll take a look at schedules for both these sides, take a peek at American Legion Memorial Stadium, and get you caught up on what's going on around the league. Fans out in force in Matthews. Charlotte up to the task. Charlotte and Hartford scoreless at half.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Fun fact, Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo.
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe,
heartwarming
it's
story.
8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Welcome back. Tonight's game is presented by Novant Health, the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independents. We are at halftime here in Matthews. And fans, you can join us for free pregame tailgate parties, postgame parties, and great savings at our partners by joining Jack's Brigade. Jack's Brigade is just $39.99. Comes with a gift box jammed full of great Independence swag. Meanwhile, Devin, all the fans will get a chance to see that beautiful vista sooner rather than later as we take a look at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Players, front office, Mike Jeffries, everybody's excited to get in there, and the upcoming schedule for Charlotte shows that they are going to be moving from Matthews downtown sooner rather than later. They'll go away to New York and host Charleston here in Matthews, a couple of road games, Miami and Pittsburgh. The date you're going to circle is July 7th.
Round and round we go. New York Red Bull 2. They're hoping that that date right there holds a similar result to what you saw at Hartford Athletic last week. 7-7-7 possibly again? Triple sevens, I'm just saying.
7. All right. So that's what's coming up for Charlotte. Meanwhile, for Hartford, this is a side that's still climbing up the Atlantic Division. And their next game is at home against Loudoun United and then home against Tampa Bay, which is a game I think everyone's got their eye on.
Well, home against Tampa Bay, and then 3 weeks later have to go to Al Lang Stadium. That's going to be a difficult one to handle. And the Loudoun United matches, Mike, you and I had an opportunity on our podcast, Ranis Live, to talk about it, that's not an easy feat. That team doesn't know what defeat actually looks like until the whistle blows, whether it's a 1-0 game or a 4-1 game. Even if they're on the losing side, they just continue to come at you and apply pressure. Ryan Martin knows how to get the best out of his team. Maybe not always the results, but they put a fantastic fight up.
They certainly do. It is halftime here in Matthews as Charlotte and Hartford are scoreless. We'll take a look around the league when we return.
second header. Here's a chance for Cicerone. Russell Cicerone, the leading goal scorer.
Fun fact, you know Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo?
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
Hey guys, this is Gabby Douglas. If you have an active lifestyle like me, hydration is key. That's why I love the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. With more electrolytes than some of the leading sports drinks, it's a cleaner way to hydrate and recover, with no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So try the Hydration Watermelon Smoothie from Smoothie King. Order online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Back at Matthews, halftime is brought to you by Novant Health, the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independent. Charlotte, Hartford scoreless at halftime. Time to take a look at news and notes from around the league. In May 2022, the USLW League will launch. 8 teams announcing their intention to field a side in the league from League 1, League 2, and the championship. Go to USLWleague.com for more info. Santi Moar, player of the month, but not a record holder.
No, very, very close, though. 6 goals running in consecutive games to start the 2021 campaign. 7 if you go back to 2020. Last night, Mike, in the 92nd minute. Actually went 1v1, hit the post to tie Haji Berry. Couldn't do it. Record stops at 7. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Indy 11. That was a fun fixture last year. Hope we get a very similar style matchup this one.
Elvis Amo continues to make some headlines at RGV.
What was the team that he played for? Oh, that's right, Loudoun United and Ryan Martin. Great job to see him up there for Wilma Cabrera and what has to be the biggest turnaround in the entire USL Championship. Doing a good job out in the West. Arturo Rodriguez, former League One player, coming over from North Texas. Cave Rod on the back line for Sporting Kansas City, too. Well done. Maka King, by the way, good assist on their last time out.
Certainly so. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. It's brought to you by Hyatt Place Hotel. This is the only game on this Sunday, so we look back to the weekend that was. Louisville, Drubs, Memphis, turning point, a red card, question mark. Pittsburgh, Miami drop some points in the Atlantic.
Still don't know what either one of those teams are. Tampa Bay Rowdy shows some character in the comeback victory. Birmingham Legion go to the tail end of this thing. J.J. Williams in the 83rd minute able to get his team the victory. Currently sitting atop their division. The team just keep on piling up 3 points. RGV, the place where dreams go to die. Monarchs lose.
Yeah, 3 and dreams both go to die. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule, which is brought to you by Hyatt Place Hotel. A lot of action on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, including that Red Bulls and Independence game up in Montclair.
I'd like to see FC Tulsa to get back on track. Hot to start the season with 3 wins, regardless of opposition. Now they've dropped a couple of games. Sporting Kansas City, too, was one of the teams that put them in their place, started this streak on the negative downside. Now you're back at home. Make a statement to the league. Say, listen, that was a blip. We're back on track. Go get a result.
And then they'll have all of Devon's respect. It's halftime here in North Carolina. Scoreless between Charlotte and Hartford. First half highlights and the second half are coming up.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Fun fact, Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo.
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
You know, we both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Fans enjoying halftime, music blaring in Matthews' penultimate game at this venue, the Sportsplex at Matthews. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr. First half highlights brought to you by Novant Health. And it was Hartford with the direct play that made things difficult in the first half.
They were trying to figure out at this right back spot behind Blake Pope who was going to be there. Dimmick started. They had brought Christian Dean over. Then Dimmick goes back, and in that topsy-turvy moment, the opening 5-10 minutes or so, there were some quality interchanges by Hartford Athletic coming off the back line. Couldn't really do anything with it, though. And then you started to see the best of what we see out of Charlotte Independence really come into the limelight. Good movement on the outside. Clay Dimmick getting into the final third. There's not a lot of contact, but there's definitely no ball on the challenge by Connor McGlynn. Sometimes they say ball don't lie. It didn't lie in that one, and neither did Jeff Caldwell. This is a monstrous save by the goalkeeper. It's not just for the result. It's his ability to get down into that bottom corner with his big 6'3" frame and make a play on the ball.
They say goals change games. Sometimes the lack of a goal can change one, too. Off that, set piece knocked into the penalty area. Collision there, both Roberts and Miller able to continue. And we skip ahead to the 36th minute, and you see Armin putting out a bit of a dribbling display. Played onside by the back pass for Charlotte's defense, but Obregon can't beat Miller from there.
The best opportunities for this team going forward also resulted in a cause for concern because of the fact that not only were they isolated, Mike, the players themselves were in bad spots. They were always fighting an uphill battle where whether it was Tabor Tataka, Bradford Jamison, or Obregon, they were fighting 1v2 and 1v3, trying to challenge multiple players. The possession battle for Hartford Athletic finally took a turn towards the positive. Once we approached halftime, they figured out how to get more players on the ball, to be a bit more patient in their buildup. They're going to need more of that here in the second half to be successful.
Our first half stats were brought to you by Novant Health. We are underway in this second half of play. Hartford in gray move left to right. Charlotte in home blues. Not a lot in that foul, but enough from Obregon to draw the whistle.
Presented by Complete Construction Services. Number 29, Dane Kelly.
Dane Kelly's come on at halftime for Charlotte.
It's not a big surprise whatsoever, and except for the fact that I didn't bring it up, a little bit of an apology coming from my end in the fact that you didn't have a presence from Irvin Parra. Funny how on one side for Hartford Athletic, they did have that quick fire option to play the long ball. You didn't get that for the Charlotte Independents in the opening half, and with the addition of Dane Kelly, not only can he play with his back to the goal, but now you've got the speed to boot. You're going to have to be a bit more weary if you're Connor McGlynn, Chinjigian, and Alex Laura on the back line.
We are back to the action on
Definitely
the pitch,
keeps
so
you more
fans,
honest,
let's get loud
Dane
this
Kelly.
second half as we watch the battle between the Hartford Athletic and your Charlotte Independence.
Well, I appreciate the public address announcer's enthusiasm. played that role from time to time. Kelly replaced Para at halftime. Sub brought to you by Complete Construction Services. Dane Kelly, also referred to as the league's all-time leading goal scorer. This time trying to play the assist man. Rolling this ahead, Palomino, tricky as ever on the ball. Palomino trying to take on a trio of Hartford players, and Lara throws his hands up alongside Niarma Ashiti, as if for both to say it wasn't me. Struck to the feet of Kelly, not much there. Slide in by Bender. Kelly splits this down the line toward Kelly making the central run. Barrera. Roberts had to cover a ton of ground and strides onto the ball for Charlotte. Back to Miller.
I'm a little bit surprised with the pace of Obregon that Hugh Roberts, who's quick himself, but he was running away from Obregon in that situation.
I don't know if that's just long legs, but
I thought that would have been a more highly contested situation for sure.
Hugh Roberts' third year in Charlotte, time in Richmond, Bethlehem, and Pittsburgh. If you remember, he was a trialist at Richmond. This is a guy who not a ton was expected out of George Mason. Didn't become a defender until the spring as a sophomore, because at the time, George Mason only had 3 backs available for the spring season.
The Patriots? Is that right?
I believe so.
I'm guessing.
I should know. It's
You
wearing
should.
a fellow Atlantic 10
You don't, though.
teams. You know.
Yes, the subtle tones of Mike Watts' computer in the background.
Well, it wasn't so subtle, was it? Into the penalty area. This will find Barrera off the post. Second posted in. This incredible start to the season continues for Danny Barrera. 4 goals, 5 assists, 1-0 Hartford.
Everything we asked of from this team in the first half has started to finally take shape here in the second, Mike. You get great balance on both sides. Fantastic run by Tabor Itaka, but it's the second and third players that you get the option right down the middle. Both Arthur Rogers and Danny Barrera asking for the ball at the top of the 18. The latter just gets it fed right into his wheelhouse. Beautiful first touch and the ability to immediately pick out the bottom corner. Doesn't get a lot of pace on it, but he knows where the goalkeeper is, understands that he's just going to continue the progression and challenge the bottom corner of Brandon Miller. What a start for Danny Barrera in 2021.
Slide in there. Leaping out of the way, Jordan Bender. Devin, I thought we knew Danny Barrera, and he did not have a bad season last year. That's certainly not the argument, but Palomino, with arms flailing from Barrera, thought that was going the other way on a handball.
Even if you remove his performance against Red Bull 2, it's still a quality start.
Yes. What impresses you most beyond the statistics? Take us deeper into why.
Patience, and his ability to, you saw it in the first half where whether he's outside the top of the 18 on his own side of the ball defensively or the opposition, he's always extremely collected with his thoughts and what he wants to do in terms of vision. In build-up play and execution to put balls into the back of the net, finding a way to have that combination for that final pass as one of the guys who's close to being the all-time assist leader within the USL Championship history. Danny Barrera is extremely calm on the ball. That's why he is so successful.
Independence fans stay in the game with no
Change here for Charlotte, and for Hartford fans, this is a long-time, first-time situation. Noah Paravicini was on the roster last year, but a season-ending knee injury didn't feature in any games in the 2020 season. So good to get Paravicini back into the lineup this year, just for Hartford's opposition on the night. Paravicini's 5th appearance all off the bench. Palomino took a hard fall. Well done to turn over that by Niarma Ashiti. Blake Pope, the player, came off. Sub brought to you by Complete Construction Services. How do you diagnose Blake Pope's first professional start?
Más o menos. Definitely had some bright lights for sure. I felt like started to settle into the match once they got an idea of how they were going to attack going forward. Felt comfortable paired next to Jordan Bender and knew that Clay Dimmick was going to have his back defensively, but in the transitional moments, he did struggle when the game opened up. When it was slow, it was easy for him to recover, much like it is for a lot of players, but when the game starts to jump into another level, can you step up and follow the match, and more importantly, can you lead? And we didn't see that from him, but again, at a very young age, just 18 years old, I'm sure there's going to be some great things for him in the future.
Harsh slide by Connor McGlynn. Free kick coming for Charlotte. That was Dimmick who belly flopped.
His face actually bounces off the turf here. Ooh. Call the dentist.
What kind of trickery does Charlotte have? Kelly and Roberts and Bean, a trio between the sticks, 10 yards out.
Paravicini just lurking all the way to the backside. He's almost 6'3". That's an option as well.
This is struck for target and wide.
Great left foot for Jake Arman. Decides to go the direct route, though even if he was able to get this on frame, Jeff Caldwell 100% had it covered.
Folks, do not forget, join us on July 7th for the Chick-fil-A grand opening night at the all-new American Legion Memorial Stadium when your Jacks play the New York Red Bulls. Opening kick is 7 p.m.
Arman, anything surprise you about this midfield, the way Mike Jeffries laid it out to us on the phone this week?
Not the way he laid it out to us, the way that it's taking shape in the match instead.
Right.
Yeah, it's the fact that Jake Arman has basically become your 6.
Ball across, Palomino got a touch on that. That's going to send Kelly scampering, and this will escape the end line.
There's room to be had here for Hartford Athletic as they're going to actually point to the corner.
Whoa, they're not pointing to the corner, they're pointing to the spot. And now the referee is stopping play, and now he's saying it's a goal kick.
Easy, easy. John Freeman, it's Sunday, not Sunday fun day. Woo. Settle down, young man. Take it easy.
Oh, man.
I mean, everybody looking around going, what's he blowing a penalty for? It's funny because down in the corner, the players actually thought he had pointed to the corner for a second. Then his hand moved back across. They thought it came off the arm of Alex Lara. It's actually the trailing boot from Charlotte Independence.
Whew. We need to have a more clear set of motions from a referee. That's my mission.
You're over the one-arm pointing rule.
Enough.
It's been around for a century.
They're pointing in all different directions. I don't need a sprinkler. This ball knocked across and is cleared as far as Rogers. These are the things I think about on Sundays, Devin. Just, keep note cards or, make announcements, pronouncements. Bounces through here for Charlotte. DiValardi, high arcing ball, header will scamper over to Caldwell. Well, it's funny because you look at what occurred there, and all the players from Hartford were arguing the point, and just quite the confusion.
It's one at the end where if you had a mic on, that's John Freeman going, "My bad, guys. Yep. That's on me."
Palomino somehow snuck into the penalty area. This will sneak out as far as Bronico. All right, here we go.
Analysis, John Freeman.
Bad lip reading.
Right arm. Boys, we're going to go to the penalty mark. Hang on. Everybody slow it down. Nope. No, wait. Check. Linesman, my bad. Yep, my fault. Goal kick. Dinner's on me. Dinner is on me, Ashidi. So sorry about that. Niarma's going, come on, man. Like I've done enough running tonight. Now you want me to come over and do your job too? Good on John Freeman, though. I mean, understand that although we're having a little fun here, looks to the AR on the far sideline. They diagnose the problem, recognize that, yes, it is, in fact, the center referee, and they get us back on track.
Bronico. Armin. All this space. Advantage played. Swung back by DiValardi. Contact free kick. And now the Hartford players can make an argument. Armin in the middle of it again. We're starting to see Armin be a little more aggressive in midfield, taking space.
Well, they're starting to change their shape as well, and you had asked me just prior to the debacle that was the call in the box. You got to feel a bit hard done if you're Hartford Athletic, given the fact that it's just a loss of footing here for Armin as well. And they get tangled up, but it's very difficult to blow a foul in this situation. You can't argue it the either way as well because there is a little bit of contact. And with Jake Armin assuming a different role, which we'll get into in a minute, you now have a fantastic opportunity. Jeff Caldwell has to be very careful here because you've got the right foot of Palomino. Jake Armin loves to be cheeky on these near post runs and direct strikes. Centrally located, 4 on the wall with the support on the ground as well. Could go either way.
Spare a thought for Rogers. Palomino drives that off the wall, and that got up high and caught the head of one of the Hartford players. And yes, the referee's going to stop play and wave over the athletic trainer. That's Connor McGlynn.
Both he and Jake Jigian were right there when this ball gets whipped back across the Twin Towers.
Yeah, he was the third from the left in the wall.
Just catches this upper temple area. Good jump. Yep, that'll leave a mark.
Flavor is unparalleled. As soon as you bite into them, you're in a happy place. The seasoning is perfect.
Hey, I'm Giovanni, and the little thing I love about Chick-fil-A nuggets is that they're perfectly breaded. There's just
having the opportunity to listen to some of the PA. Are you a Chick-fil-A fan?
But it's pure magic.
Hit and miss.
Depends.
Yeah.
Got to be in the mood.
I'm actually a bigger fan of Chick-fil-A for breakfast.
Oh, their breakfast delightful. And the biscuit, add a little egg and cheese.
With the chicken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there are non-chicken options,
No,
which
I'm
sort
not
of,
interested
for me,
in that.
misses the point.
You don't order fish at a steakhouse.
Complete Construction Services presents a substitution. Valentin Sabella comes on for Bender. You know, my dad always told me, Devin, that you would never go to Denny's for filet mignon. Anywho, join us July the 7th for our Chick-fil-A grand opening night at American Legion Memorial Stadium. The Jacks play host to New York Red Bulls too, plus there will be a huge fireworks show after the game. Tickets on sale now, charlotteindependence.com. Rogers will come off.
Entering for Hartford, number 8, Christian Gomez.
It's Christian Gomez who comes on, the Venezuelan.
An extremely talented prospect when you listen to the Hartford Athletic Organization talk about at just 22 years of age. He's been here a week ago Friday, so you're looking at a guy who's only had 9 days experience within this system so far. But the second that he stepped onto the practice field, Harry Watling turned to his staff and said, guys, let's get a little bit of video of this. That's how special he felt this player could be and what he was watching in front of his eyes.
Sabella will uncork with a deflection, and Caldwell takes it as it banged off of Lara. Valentin Sabella, a story that'll never get old. The Florida Soccer Soldiers. U.S. Open Cup darlings of 2019, which was conversely the first year that the Open Cup was fully televised or streamed by ESPN.
And plenty of offers to go play at the collegiate level. Instead, decided to stay home in the South Florida area. Played for Florida Soccer Soldiers and attended FIU, the Golden Panthers. Just going to try and work in as many mascots as we can. Figure out, you know, if we lined them all up, Mike, at the tail end of this thing, we got to figure out who's best in show. Just an idea.
That's tonight, isn't it?
I believe it starts, yeah.
They are the George Mason Patriots, by the way.
1 out of 1. Well, the Panthers would be 2, to be fair. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Batting 1,000. Basically the Hall of Fame, so.
Lehigh Mountain Hawks, I mean, we could do this for hours.
No, you could.
Okay. Freeman again blows his whistle. This time it's Gomez who drew the ire of John Freeman. 65th minute. Hartford leads on the goal by Danny Barrera in the 50th. The free kick coming for Charlotte on the outer reaches of the attacking third. Palomino, Caldwell. Jeff Caldwell out of the University of Virginia, played 61 games there. Time at NYCFC after being drafted. Did not feature for NYCFC.
Presented by Famous Toastery. The Jacks will wear special jerseys.
Roberts plays away.
Red Bulls and
a little bit surprised that Hartford Athletic haven't tried to attack that far wing a little bit more the way that the Independents with their changes have lined up. Poor giveaway. They've isolated their back three to where Diaviardi on this left side is pretty much sitting centrally located. There's a studs up challenge.
Yeah, that's only going to be a yellow card here for Budati. But the way Diaviardi was extended here, that could have gotten a lot dicier.
It's dangerous.
Pardon. Yeah, that's Paravicini.
Oh. Budati, credit to him, immediately recognized that he was in the wrong. You know, pointed to Paravicini, said, my apologies. And this is the space that I'm talking about right there, Mike, when you spread Clay Dimmick, who's got a lot of responsibility on that far right now. You spread it that wide.
Ball swung across, leaping into the air. Kelly still alive here for Charlotte. Ball rolled forward toward Kelly, the header here. Somehow Caldwell airborne, rips it down, no rebound. There's a bit of a looping header at the end. Caldwell smothered it.
Well, I'm talking about the defensive side of the ball for the Charlotte Independents, but the right flank. And Valentin Sabella what ends up happening is there's so much space on the right side. Sabella plays very high, and it allows that combination play that just broke down in front of us.
Pounding forward again. Kelly got a touch to get this wide. Sabella once more. Tipped out by Gomez.
Another really good save by Jeff Caldwell. This all comes down to positioning, and though the first one doesn't come, there's the trailing run I talked about. A little bit lucky, to be fair, for Sabella, who had the trailing leg that took down Hartford Athletic player. Jeff Caldwell has to keep that near post run covered, but still allows himself, with his athletic ability, to make a great save on Dane Kelly.
Arman deflects. And it'll carry him out into the corner and out for a corner. Caldwell deserves a little more credit for this.
Yeah, just watch him. Because you would, 9 times out of 10, you expect this run from Dane Kelly to come to the near post with a little redirect. But the fact that the ball goes to the area route, now Caldwell has to stop immediately in his tracks. Still account for the fact that the ball could be shot with his head to the near post, but also that it's going to come back across his right shoulder. Secondary option happens, makes another really good save.
Chick-fil-A corner to the back post. Header, there's Caldwell once more. Parries this out, corner, Charlotte.
Fans, let's hear it. It's another Independence corner kick.
Caravicini trying to harm his former club.
And at some point in time, you're going to have to find a way to relieve the pressure, as it's a mismatch on the back post for Charlotte Independence. Great job by Paravicini.
Corner, Kelly bounces all the way through. Caldwell went rolling back into goal. Play allowed to continue. Palomino out of room. Tabor to Taka. Away by Paravicini. Hartford trying to make it 5 in a row to start the season without defeat. Just one draw to their credit so far, 3 wins. Side that just announced that they've placed a bid to have a team in the W League next year. One of the 8 founding members, the pre-professional women's soccer platform, coming to Hartford in 2022. Increased ambition from this club. And they added Roddy Jaidi last year. Jaidi leaves to go back overseas. Harry Watling has come in and built largely this roster over again. Has done so quite well. This diagonal will skip off the head of Budati.
Folks, Smoothie King is the official smoothie of the Charlotte Independence. Make sure you stop by the Smoothie King Open football game on the concourse.
For what it's worth, by the way, we've only had 2 yellows in this game. Did you know that Charlotte and their opposition have had 4 more yellows in each of the last 12 games? Anywho, this will be a corner. Clay Dimmick won it.
Independence fans, here we go. That's another corner kick presented by
Soccer Way
Chick-fil-A.
comes up with some odd trends, don't they?
Always grateful for those.
That's Arman steps in for the Chick-fil-A corner kick. Arman for Dean. Out by Barrera. Header skies Palomino. First touch wide. Armin. Kelly. Kelly continues! What a goal! What an incredible individual effort by Dane Kelly!
Dane Kelly!
And Dane Kelly is back to his scoring ways in Charlotte, his first of the season for the league's all-time goal-scoring leader.
There are some things, Mike, you can't teach. It's a talent that is graced upon you, and that's what this is for Dane Kelly.
Check the video board for the replay.
His slide nature to allow this to run through his legs. A little oop-de-oop on Connor McGlynn, then brings it back across his body. The natural progression is always going to be for the goalkeeper to shift to his right. Dane Kelly knows that. And it's the half step, that little space right outside the top of the 18, that allows Dane Kelly to dictate where he wants this ball to go. Uses his momentum to the bottom corner for his 89th, you heard that right, regular season goal.
Meanwhile, Hartford the other way! What an answer by Tabor Itaka. 2-1 Hartford in the blink of an eye.
The meeting of the minds would have rather have produced this just prior, but with a team that had started to be pinned back on the defensive side of the ball due to the changes by the Charlotte Independents, they needed a reprieve. It comes from the goal by Dane Kelly to get them back on track, but watch him attack this ball. Giveaway on the bad side by Valentin Sabella. That far right wing was a concern. I just talked about it 10 minutes ago. Leaves Dimmick exposed and allows Tabor Itaka to give his best Dane Kelly impersonation. The difference is his goal puts his team out in front.
Well, the goal for Charlotte brought to you by Devil's Logic Brewing. The devil is in the details. Charlotte pulled level, and Hartford has retaken the lead. This massive Atlantic Division clash between 2 and 4 in the 8-team table. Devin, you think about the language that Harry Watling uses. His entire approach is building a positive mentality. They give up the goal, and to get an answer so quickly feels a bit like it's pre-planned almost.
Well, what any manager will tell you, players as well, is that the response from your squad in times of need, specifically after a goal, is always going to be the next 5 or 10 minutes. It's preached and ingrained within your club. You learn it as a youngster, and everybody's got their own philosophy once you start to progress throughout your career, but that's exactly what happened here. Dig down deep and find a response.
Tabor Itaka again, and Roberts got a heavy welt from that. Well, that response for Charlotte will need to come in the next 14 minutes or stoppage. 2-1 Hartford. You and I spoke to Mike Jeffries a week ago. Advantage played. The conversation came up again. Talking about the upcoming schedule, said, hey, you're facing a Hartford team that hasn't lost, a pretty good Rowdies team. He goes, pretty good Rowdies team? Both at the time unbeaten. Charlotte was able to unseat the Rowdies. And then their focus turned here to Hartford. Free kick won by Charlotte. Again on the precipice of the final third. It's that duo of Armin and Palomino that'll stand over it.
And it's probably that duo that's going to allow this team to find an equalizer, dead ball situation or not. And the follow through is what's going to get you in trouble here. Again, the back post run, he's still not being marked appropriately. Paravicini, I'm putting a body on him. There's too much space in between he and Budati.
It'll be Armin. Ricochet leads to a corner.
Corner kick for the Independents, presented by Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A corner kick in the 78th minute. Armin, high arcing, this will get out. And another set piece here for Charlotte. Corner whipped across, and the push from Dean. Fans tailgating is now allowed at Independence games. You can reserve a tailgate spot for the season or for a game. Create new friends and great memories. Go to charlotteindependence.com to get your reserved tailgate spot today.
You big tailgater?
I just can't. I don't have 10 hours of battery.
Yeah.
When I go to the game, I go to the game. Unless I'm doing 3 games in a day.
Yeah. Batteries come in different forms these days for you.
True enough. Look at all this room for Palomino. Smartly knocks this wide. Settled appropriately. Cross with a little kiss sends this out for a corner. Paravicini was just trying to flick that on. Here we go again.
And the ball up over the top for Palomino was an interesting one. Well done on that far side to be able to get something back in to the interior. Paravicini being asked to play interesting role moving forward.
Service on the corner. Caldwell got a piece. Palomino is in! 5 Hartford players between him and the goal line. And it ricochets in. 2-2, 10 minutes to go.
That roll by Paravicini is paired right in front of Marcelo Palomino. This is a mistake by Jeff Caldwell. As good as he's been all night long, if you're gonna come that far off your line, you better be really certain that you're gonna get to the ball. This actually comes off the outside arm as well. Watch this, right shoulder right there. Have a good argument for a penalty if it doesn't end up in the back of the net. Paravicini the presence, Palomino the finish. Charlotte Independence the equalizer.
I lied, there were 6 players from Hartford between Palomino and the goal line. Devil's Logic Brewing goal in the 80th minute. Meanwhile, Devon's got about 23 cups of water here, but we may need something a little stronger than that, like Gatorade, scientifically researched and game tested for athletes like the Jacks. When you need hydration, choose the official isotonic sports drink of the Charlotte Independence, Gatorade. Rolling ball forward. Kebori Taka crossing and Miller will claim. This a strap in, 9 minutes and stoppage to go.
Well, watch the legs on that far side, by the way, if it is, because Clay Dimmick's starting to just drag a bit here.
Gomez trying to force himself into the equation. There's Dimmick. dummied through. Now wrong side, Yunus Boudadi. Change here coming for Charlotte. That's Mbuyu who comes on. His 4th appearance, all off the bench. That's the end of the night for Marcelo Palomino, bags his 2nd goal. Mbuyu threads a diagonal. And a chance to send a screamer! 3-2 Charlotte, what a finish by Sabella!
That's a double cross goal for Independiente!
Sabella just scored one of the goals of his life in the 83rd minute. And Charlotte leads 3-2.
What a recovery from the Charlotte Independents via the form of super subs Mbuyu and Valentin Sabella. Sabella, the better portion of 15 minutes to get acclimated to this environment. But the ball by Mbuyu all the way across the field separates space and the time continuum for Valentin Sabella to go to work, pick out the upper corner, and produce one of the best goals we have seen in 2021 for the USL Championship.
Valentin Sabella, 1st appearance, 1st goal. And the Argentine playmaker delivers a Devil's Logic Brewing goal in the 83rd minute. And now a change here for Hartford down the stretch. They brought Nico Cardona on. Replaced Niarma Ashiti. Dimmick. The neutral may want this game to go on forever. Dimmick would love for that ball to pop a hole and be flat. Free kick, Hartford. And a yellow card to boot.
Folks, I know you haven't forgotten, but just in case, do not forget, July 7th, opening of the Chick-fil-A grand opening night at the All-American Legion Memorial Stadium when your Jacks play the New York Red Bulls. Kickoff is 7 p.m.
Sabella, a yellow card to go with his banger. And now the free kick. Miller punches. And the flag was up. Offside. Devin, why not? Let's enjoy this a little bit.
What do I say, Mike, when something that's good? It's just downright rude. Valentin Sabella offering no apologies, only explanations at the tail end of this match to put his team out in front. Some kind of strike from the Argentine.
For what it's worth, the USL Championship just tweeted out less than a minute ago. Naturally, there's that little bit of lag here. That slide in at the edge of the penalty area needed to be absolutely perfect by Lar, and it was. Hartford sure knows how to spoil the moment when it became 2-1. Well, Charlotte's trying to spoil Hartford's unbeaten start. El Paso might be the Miami Dolphins of the league right now, watching and waiting to see if they are indeed the last unbeaten. Although one would imagine Mark Lowry and crew have bigger fish to fry out in the West. Sabella, forced out by Cardona, who returns from international duty. Couple Puerto Rican internationals in this Hartford roster.
He took a bunch of pride in the fact that The representation on the global stage is finally starting to take shape for this organization. Wilmer Martinez still on duty for El Salvador. They have an opportunity to progress into the octagonal final round of World Cup qualifying for CONCACAF. Actually scored not only in his debut, picked up another one. Quality victory last time out. Tackle. If he doesn't play another single ball tonight, Tracer Mbuyu, he's done his job. Everybody's going to look at Valentin Sabella and his strike, and rightfully so. But it doesn't happen if you don't knock that ball to the back post. There's just loads of space, but the ball has to be picture perfect. And the entire way, he saw it. And he stepped to the near touchline, looked for the quick throw. He peeked over his shoulder, and you just sort of wondered, as he allowed this touch to come to his left shoulder, is he willing to go that far? Because he did have other options. But the vision, nay, the execution to put this thing on a rope, on his laces, half volley off the pitch, 35 across. Beautiful by Mbuyu.
Mbuyu's after it again and leaps over the sliding challenge. For Mbuyu, his first assist. And it was an absolute beaut. And it turns out it's going to take a whole militia for Hartford to try and knock off this Charlotte team at home. Kelly. Sabella for Paravicini.
And this change for the Charlotte Independents, Mike, there's still work to be done. September 5th, 2020. That is the date that Mike Jeffries committed to this system, running 5 at the back with the 2 wing backs. It was a victory over North Carolina FC. Since then, they finished out the year. They went 4-2-1, 7 goals against in 7 matches with 3 shutouts. Started this season coming into this match, 5 games, 5 goals against, 3 shutouts. So they're averaging just 1 goal against, and half the time, they're keeping a clean sheet. That is a stark difference than what we saw previously under Mike Jeffries. He understood that the way that they were playing, the way that they were set up, there was too much space at the back. The ability for teams to press them into problematic situations was extremely prevalent. He gives all the credit to his former assistant, Troy Lesane. He said it was time to make the change. This system in general, yet alone with the personnel, just suits us better. It was a good start for the home squad. You would argue that regardless of scoreline and how the game has gone, they have been the better team. The situations that stepped out for Hartford Athletic, credit to the visitors, took full advantage of it, but the ability to battle back through and find those very specific and finite moments and execute is why this team is in front right now. It's a journey that is not just this season. You have to go back quite a distance to understand how they've gotten to this point.
And they're without Kevin Riascos tonight, who they indicated coming into this game they felt a lot more comfortable with this 3 or 5 back system, with Dean and Riascos back there alongside Old Reliable and Hugh Roberts. Clever idea to skip forward by Gomez. This is a never say die Hartford. This will roll out a goal kick as we are well into stoppage time, presented by Novant Health. If you're looking for a little Greek, a little Southern, and always fresh, enjoy a great meal and an ice cold Pepsi at your local Shomars. But we'd prefer you wait at least 2 more minutes before you go. Driven forward, bouncing ball, Miller will claim. Right in front of Obregon. This This won't put Charlotte at the top of the Atlantic Division. It'll put them squarely into second place. Good from Mbuyu. Mbuyu won the free kick with 80 seconds to go. He's been a handful since coming in.
Well, I said for quite some time it was just the one ball that he had played all the way back across to Valentin Sabella that got them the go-ahead goal. Tresor Mbuyu, well done in the ability to understand that he's got to stay in an onside position, #1, in the battle here with Alex Lara. And then that he's going to get weak side help. Nico Cardona coming over. Just kill this off down in the corner if you're Paravicini. Use that big frame to your advantage.
A battle in the corner. Goal kick. 40 precious seconds ticked off. No time for error here for Hartford. Home against Loudoun, home against the Rowdies. Up in Connecticut, upcoming. There's the full-time whistle. What a seesaw second half. A tremendous performance by Charlotte to get the win. And the Independents in back-to-back games have knocked teams out of the ranks of the unbeaten. And that smile is worth 1,000 words from Mike Jeffries.
Credit to them as well, because this was a very difficult match. One that saw emotional swings, personnel changes all over. And the opportunity for Dane Kelly to come on for that man right there, Irvin Parra. And a strike from distance from the super sub, Valentin Sabella, producing one of the brightest spots we've seen in the 2021 USL Championship season. 4 goals in the span of 10 minutes, and the home squad reigns supreme 2 games running.
Valentin Sabella, the Noda Brewing Company player of the game. And what a goal he produced. Proved to be the game winner.
Fans, thanks for coming out as your Independents win 3-2.
Spectacular.
We are back home on Wednesday,
83rd minute.
Versus the Charleston Battery for another great night
And a man who once eliminated Charlotte in the Open Cup.
Here at the Sportsplex in
Scores
Matthews.
one of the better goals of his life. And will enjoy the moment. Take a look at the save of the game, and there's a number to choose from, but Obregon getting in from behind, and Novant Health presents this stop by Miller.
Bunch of opportunities in the first half for transitional movements from Hartford Athletic, and Brandon Miller. Little Freudian slip there, my apologies. Just reading my list in front of me. The last goalkeeper in the USL Championship to win Goalkeeper of the Year and Golden Glove in the same season, 2015, has been the precedent set for him. Trying to return to form, we saw it at the end of last year. It exists, folks. Charlotte Independents, they're here, and they are for real.
Well, the fans that were here are enjoying a quick roundabout with the club. Charlotte wins this one. We'll wrap it up when we return.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe,
heartwarming
it's
story
8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Pain can't wait. That's why Novant Health is making access to orthopedic care easier than ever. Same-day appointments, after-hours care available for urgent needs, and the safest care in the region. Book now.
Novant Health presents the postgame show. Charlotte 3, Hartford 2 for the first time athletic fall this year. And Charlotte has now knocked out Tampa Bay and Hartford on consecutive home dates. With Bev and Kermike Watts to wrap this one up, Novant Health presents the highlights. Penalty, 19th minute. One wondered if maybe Charlotte had let one get away here.
Let's talk about the goalkeepers and give them their credit before we get all out of sorts. Jeff Caldwell and Brandon Miller put on a quality performance for both of their squads tonight. Caldwell is called to action just inside 20 minutes. Pretty sure he answers that call. Jeff Caldwell, fantastic save from the penalty mark. Irvin Parra has the bottom corner picked out. Caldwell, save. Okay, sit back. Let's get it going. 50th minute. Danny Barrera is off to a ridiculous start for Hartford Athletic. Coming into the match, 3 goals, 5 assists. Let's make it 4. 1-0 to Hartford Athletic, and a team that was really lacking a presence in the midfield. Danny Barrera finally steps up with the presence and executes to put his team out in front by 1. 4 goals in 10 minutes coming your way. Let's start with USL Championship all-time leading scorer, 89th goal, the great Dane Kelly. Bottom corner gets us to 1-1.
Great Dane, first in his return to Charlotte after spending the past year in Israel. Hartford would not be denied, jumping ahead a minute later.
Couple of mistakes for both of these squads that end up not just in turnovers, Mike, but an opportunity, and a pretty good one at that, on both sides of the ball for both teams. As this comes out for Tabor Itaka, it's still a lot to be done. Picks out the far corner, puts it in. But the response, I had just talked about the relationship with Palomino and Paravicini. He provides enough pressure. It's still a mistake by Caldwell. And then what can Palomino do? Just puts it into the danger zone, picks out the bottom corner, and then we're even. And yes, the super subs combined. What a ball by Mbuyu. Valentin Sabella picked him up from an amateur club in 19, bagged himself a goal. He grabs 2 in the pandemic in 2020, but nothing to what we see in 2021. Upper corner. Shades of greatness? Absolutely not. It's one of the best goals you'll see all season long.
Novant Health presents the full-time stats. Devin Chance, for your final thoughts.
Good performance by Hartford Athletic. I said this was more about the performance than the result. You got that, Mike, because this team proved that they could belong. They're not always going to control the entire tempo and have all the possession, but they performed to the point where if it wasn't for the brilliance of Valentin Sabella, they're walking out of here with at least a point. But there's character that has been tested in the prior 2 matches for the Charlotte Independents. First the unbeaten Tampa Bay Rowdies. Now they've dethroned an unbeaten Hartford Athletic. Charlotte Independents are here to stay.
Charlotte will go away to Red Bull on the weekend and then host Charleston as they say goodbye to Matthews the final time, and then move into the new American Legion Memorial Stadium in June. Make it July. Well, this one was truly spectacular. Harry Watling had a lot to celebrate in the early going, but Charlotte ultimately answers and picks up maybe their second biggest win of the season, 1A, 1B. For our entire Vista WorldLink crew, Tim, Juan, Miguel, Jenny, Devin, Mike, saying so long from Matthews.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.